Welcome, everyone. My name's Neil Collins, and I'm the CEO for the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors. It's my pleasure today to introduce our keynote speaker, Sean Bellick. Sean's been with CAOR since 2012 and currently serves as a government affairs field representative for the California Association of Realtors. He's got a long resume in government affairs and campaigning. And here's a little fun fact for you. Sean's also been heavily involved in the wine business, particularly in and around Sonoma area for a good part of his career. And those two things really seem to go well together, politics and wine. So with that, Sean, why don't you take it away and give us a little background on what's happening up in Sacramento.
Welcome, everyone. My name's Sean Bellick. I'm your government affairs field rep for CAOR. We're back at it again with another election and CAOR sponsored ballot proposition. So we're going to be talking about Proposition 19, which is the Home Protection for Seniors, Severely Disabled Families, Victims of Wildfire or Natural Disasters Act. Before I jump into the 19 campaign, I do want to talk about a couple other real estate related ballot measures that are going to be on the November 3rd ballot, starting with Proposition 15. Proposition 15 is what we refer to as a split roll proposition, meaning that we are going to treat the commercial property in California on a different tax roll. As you guys know, with all property in California, Proposition 13 keeps the property tax base artificially low so that it doesn't raise more than 2% a year, usually around 1%. And so commercial property is got the same rules. So what you have is you have an idea now to treat commercial property different than residential property and bring that up to full taxation as far as the market value goes. The measure will only impact properties that are less than more than $3 million. If they're less than $3 million, there won't be a full reassessment. But this is a measure that CAOR has policy against split roll, and we feel that split roll, treating commercial property differently, is a slippery slide on Proposition 13, in that if we do that, then maybe residential will be next or other major tweaks. So we don't like any major tweaks to Proposition 13. And Proposition 15 would do that by treating commercial property different. So we have not taken an official oppose position yet. Our board of directors are meeting in less than a week, and so we are going to put that before them. Proposition 15 was one of those that they didn't have the language ready at their last board of directors meeting. We weren't sure which proposition they were using. So even though we have policy against it, we still vote on each proposition. So we'll likely oppose that coming up here shortly. Proposition 21 is another proposition in California that deals with real estate. And this is a repeal of Costa-Hawkins. This tried to pass in 2018 under the guise of Proposition 5, and it lost. And what it says is, let's get rid of the rules around the state that was put into place in the mid-90s. It's called the Costa-Hawkins Act, and it regulates rent control. And rent control is one of those things I've talked to you guys about. It really doesn't really address the cause of what people's housing, the housing affordability crisis. It really just looks at the symptoms, and it really hurts people that it's meant to help the most. So if we remove the rules like Proposition 21 wants to do, it's really going to hurt those that need it the most. Just to give you an example, what it would do is we have in California something called decontrol. So if you are a rent control landlord and your tenant moves out, well, once that tenant moves out, we allow the Costa-Hawkins Act allows you to bring that lease up to market value. You can charge whatever you want once the tenant moves out. Once the new tenant moves in, you're going to be restricted to rent control. We want that mechanism for housing, because as you guys know, housing providers need that flexibility to bring it up to market rate, for repairs, whatever the case may be. So by putting this restriction, it will further hinder the development of construction of housing and people wanting to get into the rental business. So we're encouraging a vote no. Our board of directors has officially said vote no on Proposition 21. And I think Jordan with Santa Clara Association is going to be talking a little bit more about those two, but really what I'm here to talk to you guys about is Proposition 19. So let's jump right into it. This is the CAOR sponsored initiative. We tried this in 2018 and lost. 2018 just dealt with the statewide property tax-based portability, and that is now followed with another piece of policy in here that we tweaked called the intergenerational transfer reform. So we're going to talk a little bit about what those two things do. But before we do, or no, let's just jump right into it. This is the thrust of it. This is what we've been trying to do for several years through the legislature, through the initiative process. This is something that addresses the housing crisis, doesn't solve it, but it's that low-hanging fruit that we can make this change and free up some inventory. The bottom line is, if you're a realtor, you've been in this business long enough, you know that houses are not selling like they used to. The time between when a home sells is getting longer and longer. And a lot of people, particularly seniors, those baby boomers that are empty nesters, they've raised their children in this 4-bedroom house. Those children hopefully have grown up and moved out. And now they feel, some of them feel trapped in their homes because when they move, they get reassessed. If they want to downsize, move maybe closer to their children, maybe they want to move away from their children, whatever the case may be. We'll use this example to show you what this moving penalty is. So under current law in California, let's say your tax base is only $250,000 because of Proposition 13, but the market rate is $800,000. You end up selling your house for $800,000, but you buy a new home that's $850,000, $50,000 more. Now, because that new home purchased is more than what you sold your first home for, you cannot carry your property tax base with you. The other issue is that you can only do this either within the same county under current law, or you can go to a participating county, and there's only about 9 counties and shrinking out of 50-something counties in California. So there's this situation where they can say, hey, let's stay here in the bigger house and pay a property tax assessment based on $250, or if we move to the new house down in Palm Springs, which costs $850, we're going to get reassessed at $850. They don't move. On the other end of the spectrum, you have younger families looking for what? Larger inventory. Perhaps they have a growing family. This inventory is currently locked up by those seniors, and so our idea is to give them an incentive to move. So what does it do? It opens it up statewide. Proposition 19 says you can move anywhere in the state, not just within your county, but from border to border, anywhere in the state up to 3 times, and carry your property tax base with you, even if it costs more. So how does it work under our example if it costs more? So let's say, again, the new home's $850. There's a $50,000 difference. You add the $50,000 to the $250 tax base from the original home, and now you have a tax base on the new home of $300,000 versus $850. That's the idea behind this. Now, this doesn't only work for 55 and older. This will work for disabled homeowners and victims of natural disasters. And if you've seen some of our ads, we're hyping that up obviously right now with the fires. People that have lost their homes in these fires can now transfer what they were paying on their home that was lost to a new home anywhere in the state for any cost. Now, we tried this measure alone back in 2018, 2018, Proposition 5, it lost. 60% voted no. And the reason that they voted no was because the local governments, fire departments, police, schools, never people you want to have against you, by the way, they came out opposed and said, hey, people bringing their lower property tax bases into our counties is going to make us lose money. We actually disagreed because on the other end, those people that aren't moving in those bigger houses, those houses won't get reassessed. They will get reassessed under our measure. So we disagreed with how much it would cost. Nonetheless, those guys won out, we lost. So we came back with a new measure that included the portability that we just discussed. But now, in addition to, we are looking at closing a kind of what the legislature considers a loophole. It's really not. It came from Proposition 58, which allows parents and grandparents to transfer their homes and property to their children and grandchildren and have them pay the same property tax base that they paid. So that is something that has been on the chopping block. The Legislative Analyst Office did a report back in October 2017, followed up by an LA Times investigative article on how much money the state is losing because of these intergenerational transfers. And I'll get into why the guy from Airplane, Lloyd Bridges, is up there. The LA Times talked about how the Bridges family inherited a home, beachfront in Malibu, and they bought the Bridges family bought the home in the 60s or 70s. When Lloyd passed away, he left it to his two sons and daughter. They decided to rent it out for about $15,000 a month as a stunning beachfront Malibu home. They were paying property taxes to the tune of about $7,000 a year. The LA Times caught on this and they said, this is not just happening with the Bridges family, but this is happening statewide, and the state is losing upwards of $1 billion a year on this. So this is something that the legislature currently has the votes to do. They have 2/3 majorities, more than 2/3 majorities in both the state Senate and the state Assembly. This is something Newsom would most likely probably sign. This is something also that was raised to the attention of the press and the legislature in 2017, before the pandemic, before the economic crisis, before this recession that we're in that has created a $54 billion hole in our state budget. We've never had a budget deficit this high ever. There's going to be some drastic cuts. There's talk about restructuring taxes. This is something that was on the chopping block, if not before, now more than ever. By putting it in our measure, we have told the legislature, listen, if the voters vote for this, you can't touch it. We don't eliminate it. We actually leave it open slightly. What we do is we say, listen, if you want to inherit your parents' or grandparents' home, that's fine, you can do it. But if you want the low property tax base, you're going to have to either cap it at $1 million increase in assessment value, meaning if the home's assessed at $1 million, but it's really worth $2 million, that because the gap is $1 million, the children can inherit the home, and even though it's worth $2 million, still pay taxes based on $1 million. So there is still some room there for that. The other catch is the children can't rent it out or do commercial purposes with it. It has to be a primary residence for their family. We feel that this will open up housing for families that need it the most, perhaps give them a first-time home buying opportunity that they wouldn't particularly have because of the low taxes. So we leave it in place when we know almost certainly that if we hadn't touched this, it would probably be going away very shortly. All right. Those are the two big things that our proposition does. There's a couple other things. This is kind of a side-by-side comparison of what we were gathering signatures for originally and what Proposition 19 morphed into. In the end, we ended up compromising a deal with the state legislature where they passed something called Assembly Constitutional Amendment 11, and that became Proposition 19. And there was a few changes in it that are highlighted in green. The big ones that are important to us, because they now turned everyone that was against us in Proposition 5 to our biggest supporters, is the first, the family farm benefit. The intergenerational ranching that happens in California will not be at risk. You'll still be able to pass the family farm on to your kids. The other thing is any fire departments, districts, and counties that experience any kind of revenue shortfall, there's a dedicated pot of money in our proposition that will allow those counties and local fire agencies to be made whole and get money when they need it the most. So those are the big changes. As a result of that, I'm going to jump around here. As a result of that, we got broad support from more diverse groups than any other proposition out there. Republicans, Democrats, ag, business, labor, fire, police, schools, senior groups, they all are joining in support of Proposition 19. Just to review kind of what it does, we've got the property tax portability, the protects transfers of family homes to children and grandchildren, at the same time dedicates money to fire districts and protects family farms. And then also this money, because schools rely on property taxes, this will generate a lot of money for schools. I want to take this time to go over an ad really quick. And I just want to make sure my computer sound is being shared. All right, there we go. So share. Neil can tell you who this lady is at the end here. This is, I'll just tell you, this is, we have a CEO for the Orville Association of Realtors that lost her home in the Camp Fire back up near Chico last year, or a couple years ago. So we did an ad with her highlighting the fact that fire victims can transfer their property tax anywhere. So let's take a look at that here.
We saw the cloud of smoke and my heart fell. I knew we'd lose our home, and we did. Over 24,000 homes have been destroyed by wildfires in the past few years. Wildfire victims need help, so I'm voting yes on 19. It limits property taxes on wildfire victims so families can move to a replacement home without a tax penalty. You never know what you'll be faced with. Please vote yes on 19. We saw the cloud of smoke.
All right, get rid of that. So that's one of our ads out. We have another one running with a girl named Christy, who actually went to high school with in Santa Rosa. Her house burnt down. She moved to San Diego subsequently, and she had to petition through the county assessor down there and then actually get all 5 board of supervisors to pass a resolution that would allow her to take what she was paying under property tax in her burnt home to a new home down in that area in Southern California. She shouldn't have to do that. This would allow those fire victims to move anywhere they want to move. Next slide. We saw that. Get out your phones, particularly if you want to share this stuff with your clients, whether they're a senior couple that wants to downsize and move closer to their grandchildren, or they're a younger couple looking for a bigger home. This is something that benefits everyone. By holding your camera up to this, it will take you to a website where you can sign up to get more information on this in the last few weeks of the election. Really, most people do Facebook. So if you do Facebook, this will take you to the Facebook page where you simply just like us, and then you can start seeing the content that you can share with your network. We're not only on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Sorry, not TikTok yet. The key hashtag or call sign is vote yes on 19. In addition, if you want graphics for Zoom or things that you can insert your picture or write stuff and post, we have a toolkit designed to help you do that. And you can get it by emailing us at realtorparty@scar.org. And that concludes my portion.
All right. So next I want to introduce you to Jordan Nunez. Jordan's our Government Affairs Associate. He's going to talk about our SCORE Voters Guide. You'll receive an email probably within the next few days on this as well, but it's going to talk about our endorsed candidates and some of our endorsed measures. And, you know, I know in this political season there's a lot of polarization, but here at the association, we're all about the Realtor Party and promoting candidates that support our issues, regardless on what side of the aisle they associate themselves with. So with that, Jordan, why don't you go ahead and take it away? Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jordan Nunez. I'm the Government Affairs Coordinator for SCORE. I'm happy to be here this morning and walk you through our voter guide. So just a reminder, I want to make sure that all of our members are registered to vote, and they are going to vote on November 3rd. So if you are not registered, go ahead and check to make sure you're registered by October 19th. Ballots should have dropped on Monday, and members should be receiving them within a couple of days now. So our first candidate is Otto Lee. The Santa Clara County Association of Realtors voted unanimously to endorse candidate Otto Lee for Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors District 3. The SCORE Board of Directors recognizes Otto Lee as aligning with our mission as a pro-housing and property rights association and are proud to offer him this endorsement. Otto made the following statement upon hearing the news of this endorsement. At a time when housing is a major priority for our community, I'm honored that the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors has endorsed my campaign for supervisor. Our realtors are in the business of fulfilling dreams, and it is important to all of us and our children to have an opportunity to have a home of their own, and I will fight for better housing for all and for our future. Thank you for your support. Otto has a strong understanding of Realtor Party issues as he has an active real estate license. Otto has a long history of serving the public. He has previously served as mayor of Sunnyvale, council member, and planning commissioner, and served in the United States Navy for many years. He works as an intellectual property attorney in San Jose and lives with his wife Sally in Sunnyvale with their 3 young daughters. Otto is running for supervisor to continue his lifelong dedication to public service, using his experience to improve Santa Clara County for everybody. As supervisor, he will take real action to solve the problems that harm our community, including the extreme cost of housing, increase in homelessness, and quality of life issues like public safety and traffic congestion. He would be serving the constituents of District 3, which includes Milpitas, parts of San Jose, and Sunnyvale, and some unincorporated areas. Next up are San Jose City Council members, Dev Davis and Lan Dieppe. Councilmember Davis is a proud homeowner in District 6 and wants to continue to make San Jose a great place to raise her family. She has been a champion of Realtor Party values, consistently defending private property rights and home ownership while making the necessary decisions to increase affordable housing. In her first term, she has successfully eliminated barriers to building ADUs, facilitated new development of affordable housing for those most vulnerable, such as veterans and seniors, while protecting existing neighborhoods and home ownership opportunities. In her second term, Councilmember Davis plans to continue to protect home ownership and create more affordable housing for the most vulnerable populations to address the housing and homelessness crisis in our region. Councilmember Dieppe has called San Jose home for over 20 years. He is a true voice of his community and is consistently working to get as much input from the District 4 constituents as possible. The council member has been a consistent advocate for Realtor Party values with a focus on increasing the housing supply in the city of San Jose. He strives to make it easier to get shovels in the ground, streamlining our permitting process, reducing fees, and cutting red tape so we can begin to increase our housing supply and reduce costs for everybody. Councilmember Dieppe has continued to work to build more housing for all types of affordability to ensure the right home exists for every person in the community. In the city of Santa Clara, we've endorsed Teresa O'Neill, Bob O'Keefe, and Anthony Becker. Teresa O'Neill is a longtime resident of Santa Clara and cares deeply about the community and the residents. She believes her primary duty is to represent the residents of Santa Clara. She believes that a solid economic foundation is critical to the ongoing success of Santa Clara. Her top priorities include focusing on the economic recovery and growth needed after the COVID-19 pandemic and increasing the availability and affordability of housing in the city of Santa Clara. Bob O'Keefe is a proud native of the city of Santa Clara and is now ready to serve the city he has called home and loved for so many years. He has a passion for public service as a retired lieutenant for the California Highway Patrol, a board member of the Old Quad Residents Association, and former member of the Neighborhood University Relations Subcommittee. Bob is committed to revitalizing the downtown core and building more affordable ownership housing opportunities in the city of Santa Clara. Anthony Becker is a longtime Santa Claran and current member of the Planning Commission. He is ready to take his public service to the next level by representing District 6 as their council member. His background on the Planning Commission gives him the expertise needed to continue to increase development opportunities in the city of Santa Clara. Anthony has seen the cost of living in this region skyrocket during his life and wants to make more affordable and available housing units for all residents. He is supportive of facilitating more mixed-use housing development by reducing barriers to construction, such as cumbersome planning processes, complex fees, and unnecessary requirements, such as parking minimums. In the city of Campbell, we've endorsed Terry Hines and Carol Hoffman. Terry is a longtime resident and homeowner in the city of Campbell. He brings certain expertise on planning, zoning, and development from his time serving on Campbell's Planning Commission. His main priorities include economic development and recovery, increasing affordable housing, especially for young professionals, and public safety. Terry is a strong advocate for increasing ADU production as a great way to increase affordable housing in the city. Carol is a longtime resident of Campbell with a passion for public service. She has chaired the Campbell Civic Improvement Commission, graduated from the Leadership Campbell program, serves on Campbell Rotary, and is the vice president of the Campbell Police Foundation. Her main priorities include ensuring public safety, economic development, and recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic, and smart growth to help solve the region's housing crisis. In the city of Milpitas, we have endorsed candidates Bob Nunez and Anthony Fan. Vice Mayor Nunez is a longtime resident and homeowner in the city of Milpitas and brings the expertise needed to represent the Milpitas community. He is a staunch supporter of private property rights and has always supported Realtor Party values. Bob wants to bring more affordable housing to the city of Milpitas so that everyone has the opportunity to be part of the community. Councilmember Fan has a passion and enthusiasm for public service and is the right choice to continue to serve the city of Milpitas. He has been supportive of Realtor Party values and protecting private property rights in the city of Milpitas. One of Anthony's main priorities is to continue to focus on building more housing in the city of Milpitas. He wants to remove barriers to development, such as incentives, density bonuses, and reduce parking requirements to make it easier for projects to receive financing. In the city of Gilroy, we have endorsed Marie Blankley, Fred Tovar, Danny Mitchell, and Zach Hilton. Marie was raised in the city of Gilroy and is now a proud home and business owner in the community. During her time on the city council, she has consistently advocated to protect private property rights and increase housing supply. She is a strong advocate of ADU production. It creates valuable infill affordable housing stock for young professionals and senior citizens while protecting neighborhoods. As a CPA, she brings expertise on economic recovery and growth, which is a main component of her platform. She also continues to support smart housing growth available for residents of all income levels and holding study sessions with the public and county to address the issue of homelessness. Fred Tovar is running for a second term on city council to continue to develop the future of the community and support the vision residents have for the future. He pledges to continue to focus on the revitalization of downtown Gilroy, economic recovery and growth, and improving the overall quality of life for the community. Fred's long-term plan for the future of Gilroy includes ensuring enough housing supply exists at all income levels and making homeownership more affordable and accessible. Danny Mitchell has called the community of Gilroy home for over 60 years. As a proud homeowner and prominent figure in the local business community, he has a great understanding of what is best for the city of Gilroy. Danny is a strong proponent of smart growth and planning to ensure connectivity between neighborhoods, parks, services, and job centers. He supports projects that provide a good mix of affordable housing, helping Gilroy to meet regional housing needs, allocation goals. Danny's other key platform issues include economic growth with the fiscal focus, public safety, and recreational services. Zach Hilton is a firefighter and the chair of the Gilroy Bicycle Commission. Zach has a true passion for public service. He is proud to raise his family in the city of Gilroy and is ready to take the next step to serve the community by serving as a council member. Zach's main issues of focus are affordable housing for all, safe communities, local economic development, quality education, and active transportation. He is a major proponent of a livable, walkable, bikeable community in Gilroy to promote a downtown with housing, retail, dining, job centers, and a strong transportation network. Zach is a strong supporter of increasing ADU development as an important form of the missing middle housing and increasing affordable ownership housing stock, such as duplexes, townhomes, and condos. In the city of Morgan Hill, the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors voted unanimously to endorse incumbent Larry Carr for City of Morgan Hill District A council member. Councilmember Carr is a longtime resident and homeowner in the city of Morgan Hill. Growing up in Morgan Hill and raising a family of his own in the city has allowed Larry several years of expertise to understand what is best for his community. His main priority is to facilitate the smart growth of Morgan Hill that creates housing availability for everyone, while creating job opportunities and protecting valuable open space in the region. Other priorities include economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic to safely reopen businesses, public safety, and equity throughout the community. For Santa Clara Valley Open Space Authority District 1 Director, the Santa Clara County Association of Realtors is proud to announce endorsement of Alex Kennett. Alex is a member of SCCAOR and as past chair of the Local Government Relations Committee, he has a strong understanding of Realtor Party values, making him a great choice to continue to serve on the Open Space Authority. Alex is a longtime resident of the South County and knows the region very well. This gives him the expertise to understand the important balance between protecting our region's valuable green space and facilitating new housing development in the right areas. Sean covered yes on 19 and 21 pretty well, so I'll go ahead and skip these. Lastly, SCCAOR has endorsed one measure and is opposed to none. We are neutral on everything else. SCCAOR made the decision to stay neutral on most parcel taxes due to the fine line of not wanting to decrease the affordability of housing, but also understanding that local governments are struggling to afford basic services, especially for education and recreation, due to these unprecedented times. However, we are supporting Measure S, the Santa Clara Valley Water District parcel tax, 2/3 vote. Shall the measure to renew the safe, clean water and natural flood protection program, which ensures public health and safety by protecting the drinking water supply, dams from earthquakes and climate change, reducing pollution, toxins, and contaminants in waterways, and providing flood protection by renewing Santa Clara Valley Water District's existing parcel tax without increasing rates, averaging 0.006 per square foot annually, as described in Resolution 2064, until ended by voters, raising approximately $45.5 million annually, with qualifying senior exemptions, annual audits, and independent citizen oversight be adopted. That measure was endorsed by our committee. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to our voter guide. And I would like to address that our voter guide is at score.com/voter guide. So please go ahead and visit the website in case it's here in the chat box as well, in case you have any questions. Neil?
Thanks, Jordan, and thank you for everyone who participated today. We're going to have more information coming out to you in the upcoming weeks. Ballots should have hit your mailboxes yesterday, so please remember to vote. Your vote does count. That's the only way we can have true change. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.